Hello, everyone. Good day to you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in your day. Me in this podcast where twice a week we talk about the energies and astrology of right now. And we do it through the lens of consciousness, intention, and intuitive messages that I receive from my guides, from my spiritual team, that I trust will support you and humanity as we move through a very dynamic time in our world. We're moving through energies that are very big. Things are going to be shifting and changing. And one of the most important things we can do throughout our life is simply know ourselves better, know our energies, know our gifts, know our mission and our work, and how to use your own unique energetic imprint with the understanding that you have potentials and possibilities and that it's all unique to you. And so in today's show, I want to share with you another system of understanding energy that I have found to be very informative, validating, and worthwhile. We're going to talk about the human design system. And please note that if you're new to this, I will do my best at giving you an introduction to it. It is its own area of study and understanding. There are people who are experts in the human design system. They have been certified. They are the ones who do the readings. I am not that person, so I want to be very clear that I know enough to be a little bit dangerous, but there are experts in the human design system. And the reason why I want to talk about human design is because it is a combination of wisdom from astrology, numerology, chakras, Kabbalah, the I-Ching, and the hexagram. So you have all of these other wisdom tools and ways of understanding energies that come together in human design and give you even more insights into your unique imprint. And it's really amazing. There's books, there's videos, there's websites out there about human design, and I just want to offer it to you as something else to explore if it interests you, if it calls to you, because it does help you understand more about how your aura is energetically made, how you are able to understand your unique aura and your uniqueness as an individual. Human design is known as being the science of differentiation, how you're different, and why that is and how to make the most of that. So whenever you come to this episode, I hope that this is insightful information that supports your ongoing study of yourself, and that's really where our greatest power lies. If you are new to this podcast, my name is Molly McCord. I've been doing this show since 2012. My first website is consciouscoolchic.com. I started that in 2011. You can go over there and check out some of my spiritual teachings on consciousness and spirituality, awakening and ascension. I have written 10 books, plus I have contributed to 2 other books, so 12 total. I am a professional intuitive astrologer, a spiritual teacher, a mama, and just someone who's passionate about helping other people know themselves. I also have another website if you are a healer, an author, a spiritual teacher, or a guide, and you know that your mission work is here, that you are ready to step into more of your work and to develop it as a business. You can find that information over at mollymccord.online, and I hope that helps you get really clear on what's needed next for your business as you move it forward. So in this show, this is the Monday show where I talk about a special topic or a healing theme, and then the Wednesday show is where we talk about the astrology of right now. So we'll really go into the astrology on Wednesday, but today I really want to help you understand more about your unique energy. So human design system, as I said, it's a blend of ancient and modern ways of understanding our energies, and it helps you specialize in who you are. And what you do is you basically create your chart just like you do for astrology. You need your name, birth time, birth location, birth date, and all of that creates your unique chart. And below this video, below this podcast, there is a link there to one of my website pages that talks about human design. And then you can also go to jovianarchive.com for more information. And I say that so that you can check it out as I talk about it here. Human design, I found it in 2014. I went to this woman, and honestly, I can't remember how I found her or why. I've tried many different wisdom tools throughout the years. I've had sessions of all kinds. I've studied various modalities. Perhaps you can relate to that. That's what I find is that many of us, we've sampled a lot of things. And somehow I connected with this woman. Her name's Carolyn Ford. She was in Seattle doing a workshop. And she actually takes care of Einstein, a crystal skull, and was talking about crystal skulls, and then she was offering these personal sessions. I signed up for a session with her. I did not know that it was human design, and that's just me. I thought it was something else. But it's funny because looking back, I'm like, that's why I went to her, because I really needed this next level of understanding. So human design hones in on more of your energetic imprint. And they say that it actually takes 7 years of deconditioning when you practice human design in your life, because you're receiving this new information about who you are that you didn't understand. And we're all conditioned in our lives to behave a certain way, to show up a certain way about what's important. For example, you go to school, you go to college, you get a job, you work 9 to 5. And that energy is one of the types in astrology. That would be known as the generator, the ones who generate energies with their auras. And the generators can handle like that 9 to 5 energy that's showing up every day. But not everybody can. And so we're all conditioned to be a certain way in society and in our lives. And when you start practicing human design, there's 7 years of deconditioning, of unlearning what you were taught as you start to practice who you really are, as you start to honor what's known as your strategy and authority in your energy field, and to allow that to be how you experience your life, because that is who you are. And it's 7 years because that's how long it takes all the cells in the body to regenerate. So a 7-year time span of total regeneration. Human design is really quite fascinating. So what it does is it breaks us up into 4 different aura types. And they are known as the generators, manifestors, projectors, and reflectors. Now, anytime you take all of humanity and you break it up into 4 distinct groups, you're going to have problems, right? You're going to have people who say, that's not true. How can that be accurate? Think about Myers-Briggs and how through the years there was found to be these faults and this didn't fit for me. Well, it's a broad spectrum of types. It's similar to the 12 sun signs, where first you start to learn about your sun sign in astrology. You're like, I'm a Taurus, I'm a Leo, I'm a Sag, and you follow the sun sign's energies. Well, that's not going to be exact for everybody because it's so broad. It's just too general. But the more that you go into astrology and you learn then about your moon and your rising sign and your rulership energies, you learn about your house placements and the aspects. Right away, when you dive deep, it becomes very individual and very personal. So the sun signs are typically a gateway into astrology. It's where you first identify yourself astrologically, and then as you start to go into your chart more, you learn more specifics. Well, the same is true for the human design system, where you learn, okay, what you're one of 4 types, and from there you go deeper. From there, you start to understand the specifics of you. It's sort of like you just dive deeper into how the energy works and is dispersed. Human design has this whole new language. It really is this whole new language to understand, similar to astrology, where you have to understand what's being communicated and spoken Human design is the same way. There are the aura types, and then there are the different channels. There's the different ways that you have a strategy and an authority. There's the different ways of understanding colors and lines. It's really amazing, and you can, of course, go as deep or as shallow as you prefer, but there are ways to really understand who you are even more. Now, when we talk about, say, astrology and human design, it's easy to start comparing and to say, oh, well, which one's better and which one's more accurate, or astrology is left to interpretation, and astrology is this, and human design is this, and it's this, and people go into comparison. But I don't believe there's value in overly comparing these modalities. There's good things to know in each, and it's really what you prefer. I like both of them. Obviously, I know astrology much better than I know human design, but I'm learning about human design. I've only been in the experiment for 4 years, so I'm practicing my strategy. I'm practicing my authority, and I'm actually finding it to be so validating, so validating. So if you go to these two with comparisons, you might miss out on some of the best parts of each. Human design, as I said, it has 4 different aura types, and you create your free chart and you look and see, well, what aura type am I? And aura types are basically what you put out, okay, like how you connect with people and the world. It's your energy field. And I want to give you a little bit more into how this human design system came about, because the way that it came through I find amazing, and how it lines up with cosmic intelligence and humanity's awakening process. So the messenger of human design was Ra-Uru-Hu. A little tricky to say at first, Ra-Uru-Hu. And he received the human design knowledge in 1987, and for the next 25 years, until he passed away, he dedicated himself to sharing what human design was about. Now, right there, 1987 to 2011, do you know what that was, that time period? The harmonic convergence. That was a time when humanity was energetically accelerating. It was moving through an ascension and awakening process, which happened to be exactly when human design came through. So I see it as part of this energetic download that we were ready to receive, that humanity was ready to begin to work with and to understand how all these different modern and ancient sciences could be combined into a new system that gives you more understanding of who you are. Human design is only meant to affect 2% of the population. That's something that one of my mentors told me. Only 2% of the world will really know about human design. And so I took a gamble here that if you're interested in astrology, you might be interested in human design, because it takes astrology to another place. It references the planets and the signs, but it does so in a way that's slightly different, and it works with your energy differently. So it's not the same, but if you know about astrology, it can be like a bridge to understanding human design more. So the way that human design works is really fascinating, because it has to do with the energy from the sun. And I'm going to read this to you. It's referenced from jovianarchive.com. I believe it's important to always give credit where credit is due. So I'm going to share with you what it says here to understand how this works, because when I read this, I thought, it's brilliant. It makes complete sense to me. So a fundamental aspect of human design is based on what is scientifically known as the neutrino. Neutrinos are unusual particles that carry an infinite amount of mass, about 3 trillion neutrinos, and the material information they carry pass through every square inch of the planet per second. Our sun produces about 70% of all neutrinos that travel through our solar system, with the remaining 30% emitted by other stars in our galaxy and a small amount from the planet Jupiter. In 2015, the scientists Takaaki Kajita and Arthur B. McDonald were awarded a Nobel Prize for the discovery of neutrino oscillations, which shows that neutrinos have mass. Ra-Uru-Hu published this as the science behind the human design system as early as 1991. So basically, he was receiving this information in 1991, and in 2015, it was validated through science, won a Nobel Prize, and was something that really validated even how we're receiving this energy from the sun, the galaxy, and it affects our auras. It affects who we are. Since neutrinos have an infinite amount of mass, as the stream passes through us, it leaves information. It is a stream of information, and within each of us exist particles that connect us to the stream. At the moment of birth, we are imprinted by the information carried by the neutrino stream via the planets. This imprint is reflected within your human design chart and determines your particular design. This information provides us with the knowledge to understand our nature, potential, and forms of interaction. So that's basically how the energies work, is that when you are born at that time, location, date, all of that creates energies that you feel. Now, this is similar to astrology, right, where you need to have your same information, your birth date, your birth time, your birthplace, and that creates your astrology chart. This is similar. It creates a different chart. And in human design, those 4 aura types then create smaller I'll call it specialty energy types. So, for example, there are different types of generators. Generators are the dominant type on the planet with nearly 70% of the population. They are the driving life force of the planet. Their strategy is to respond, and through response to find satisfaction and avoid frustration. They have an open and enveloping aurora and are here to learn about themselves. So generators are learning about themselves. Projectors are around 20% of the population. Their strategy is to wait for the invitation, to find success and avoid bitterness. They have a focused and absorbing aura and need to learn about and understand the other. So projectors are the ones who teach people about themselves. I'm a projector. When I understood I was a projector, it changed everything for me. Because so many of us who are projectors, we operate like generators and we're exhausted and we understand why we have to do things differently. Learning I was a projector set me free. It's worth it to understand these different energy systems because it will help you really understand your energy better. Manifestors are about 9% of the population. Their strategy is to inform before they act to find peace and avoid anger. They have a closed and repelling aura and are here to understand their impact on others. So it's really good. Manifestors, I think, have the best name because who wouldn't want to be called a manifestor? But their energy is very different than even generators or projectors. And then finally, the fourth energy is the reflectors. Reflectors are without definition and are just over 1% of the population. Their strategy is to wait a full cycle of the moon before making decisions in order to find clarity. And this leads to a life of more surprise and less disappointment. They have a resistant and sampling aura and are learning to reflect rather than identify. So those are the 4 main types, and from there, again, there's the subcategories that become more specific. And this all then relates to the 9 energy centers. In human design, it's laid out, looks like the body image, the body is laid out with 9 different energy centers. And in your chart, you see where you have energy or where it's open. And when it's open, it's where it's white. So you're learning about your own energy and how to work with it and how to honor it, what that means, what that looks like. And it's easy to know it, but then you have to practice it. And I can tell you that after only doing this for 4 years, I've been in some Facebook groups on human design. All kinds of Facebook groups out there for all things human design, whether it's your strategy, it's your design type, it's your lines, it's your color. I mean, all this stuff is out there. And I found that there's people who are real diehards about human design. And they really are like, it's this, it's this, it's this. Like, you'll do it wrong if you don't do this. It's been very interesting to witness the conversations around human design, to witness how people really believe in it and only subscribe to this way of using their energy. It's unlike anything else I've witnessed before, because there's astrology, of course, groups and classes and all kinds of astrology information out there. And astrology is more open, if you will. It's left to interpretation. It's great to follow different astrologers to get their different insights and their interpretations. But human design isn't like that. It's been really interesting. There's some people who are like, it's this and not that. It's this or you're wrong. I've talked with one of my mentors about that, and she's like, yeah, it's really interesting because human design has people who are very much about there's only one way to do it. So I just share that because if you want to join any Facebook groups, there's a lot of great ones out there, and you can learn a lot, and it can be a good way to connect with other people, to learn from them. But it's been really interesting to see how it's very different as in terms of a study. There are books, of course, and there's websites. You can get a free chart at jovianarchive.com, and then you can go even deeper into understanding your chart at mybodygraph.com, mybodygraph.com. That's where there are some more interactive tools where you can hear more particulars about open centers and your authority and your strategy and what that means. It can make some things click for you. As I said, when I had this first session back in 2014 with Carolyn Ford, she told me things not to do anymore, and I was like, what? I've always done that. And she's like, and has that been disappointing? And I said, yes. I didn't realize I was not supposed to be doing those things, or that I was supposed to use my energy differently. And so human design shows you how to use your energy differently and how to honor that. So practicing the strategy of it takes time because you might have to move through the world differently. You might have to wait instead of act. Conversely, you might have to act instead of wait. It shows how your energy is best received, how your energy is worked with, how to understand even how other people pick up on your energies, where the connections are made. There's even something called fractals, where the fractal of your energy, somebody will connect with the fractals of your energies, and that's where you then connect with them and things happen and things come together. And so it's a whole energy system that can give you greater insight into how you come across, into how you're meant to move through life, and in just the energy in your aura and what that is. That's one of the things I like about human design is that it really focuses on your aura, which not many modalities focus on. You know, we can intuitively tune into an aura. We can feel it. We can see it with colors. I know there's aura cameras, for example, where you can take a picture of someone's aura and see their colors, all of that. But this is the energy of it, and it explains how to use it in a way that is individual to you. Again, it's the science of differentiation, how you're different, how you're unique. Now, as I said, this goes into a deep dive, and then human design has these things called crosses, where there's the left cross or the right cross, and they're crosses that are about what you're here to experience and offer in your life, what you're here to work with, what you're here to maximize, or how you're here to understand yourself. There are a lot of gates that are all about the different energy streams. Like there's the gate of openness, the gate of the hunter-huntress, the gate of the now, the gate of extremes, the gate of caution, the gate of privacy, the gate of contraction, the gate of insight, so on and so on. There's many different ways here that your energy is explained, and it could easily become a whole new obsession. So I thought it would be fun to share this during the energies of Scorpio, in case you're looking for a deep dive or a new obsession or something else to get to the heart of your energy. On YouTube, there are various videos on human design. I do recommend the official YouTube channel, which again features Ra-Uru-Hu. And I also recommend checking out SoundCloud, where there are some audios on human design on SoundCloud. And what typically happens is you do your free chart, and then what does it mean, right? What does this all mean? And then you can look at the videos, Google it, different websites, and start to put pieces together. Now, there are common energies to your astrology chart. They're not synced up in a way to immediately make a connection. So, for example, I can't just make a blanket statement and say, well, if you have an open throat center, that means da-da-da in your astrology chart. It's not like that. It's more about you have to understand the two charts and then be able to link them up and put it together, and it will show the fullness of your energy. So there isn't just one way to make that bridge between astrology and human design, because they're separate systems, and they're not meant to be compared. They're meant to be their own, used for their own purposes. But once you understand your chart in both, then you can start making these connections, which are really validating and really helpful, I think. And that's what I want to offer you, is another way to go deeper into your energy and to see what you're here to experience and how you're meant to know yourself, like to really know your own unique energy as energy from the sun and from the solar system. So human design, check out the link below this video or this podcast, and you can go to a page on my website that talks a little bit more. I put some videos together for you so that you can have one place to look at all this information. Then you can go check out your chart and see what that says, and hopefully go from there. It's quite interesting, too, to then start looking at how your energy will match up with certain people and how it won't. The timing of it all, of course. And I recommend a session with somebody if you really want to go into this, because it's a whole separate language, but it can bring you even more that you didn't understand about yourself. So it's quite cool. It's quite cool to understand your aura and more about who you are here to be that's unique to you. Again, going back to this first session I had in 2014, when her name's Carolyn Ford, when she told me my energy, my chart, what it was about, and that there's certain things I wasn't made to do, it's like I released a struggle. I didn't even know I was having this struggle. And I just thought, this is why some things feel so much harder for me, or why my energy doesn't flow the way I want it to. This explained how I was meant to do things my own way and to not follow what everybody else was doing. And this is really, really important to know if you are in business for yourself as an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, you're a healer. When I understood myself through human design, it helped gain clarity on how to set up my business, how to do my work in the world, how to be of service in the best possible way. And that can be priceless when you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to figure things out, where you think, I have to do everything, or I really have to do what this person does to be successful. This will give you clarity like nothing else. This will give you the answers you need that honor who you are, that honor this is how I need to set up my business, because my business is about me. You know, my business is about how I share my energy and how I create something sustainable, and that's how you really get clarity on how to do it. So another resource that I want to offer you that really helps if you're a solopreneur, a healer, you're doing work for yourself in the world that connects with people, another website that I recommend is called IHD, so I as in Institute, or International Human Design School, IHDschool.com. And under there, you look up the BG5 Business Institute. BG5 Business Institute, and you can learn more about how you succeed in business with your energy. They have some reports that I really recommend. I've gotten these reports, and they gave me instant clarity. Instant clarity. Do this, do this, do this. Like, these are your talents. These are your skills. Like, this is the best way to work with people. This is where you will energetically feel a high. Okay? That is valuable if you're looking to follow your path and doing your work in the world, your soul mission. BG5businessinstitute.com. BG5businessinstitute.com, and go from there, because right away you'll say, oh my goodness, this is why I love working with groups. You could say that. You're like, I love working with big groups. It will say that in your report. Or it will say you should only work one-on-one. Or it'll say you do best in small groups and big groups. It'll give you clarity, and it will validate you, and it will remove that overwhelm, that sense of how do I set this up, what works best for me. It removes all the different sampling that sometimes we have to do in setting up our businesses, because you're trying to figure out what you like, what you want to do. This stuff will give it to you. And that's also why I found it to be so valuable and why I wanted to share it with you. Because if you're searching for that understanding of yourself, it'll give you that on a personal level, and then it hopefully can give you some of those answers at a professional level too. I mean, this is good for just work, just your work in the world, whether you're in an office or company or however you're out there sharing your energy. I think that this is one of the few things that really focuses on your career design, your career type, and what you need. So I offer that with the intention of it bringing you answers and bringing you clarity. And again, I found it to be so validating. It's just like 2 thumbs up. I was like, yes, this is what I thought, and now it validates it. So obviously, I have enjoyed human design. There's people who start it and they drop out, meaning they don't want to practice it. They don't want to follow the information. Again, 7 years can be a long time to do something new, to trust, to wait, to take action, whatever your strategy might be. It could be a long time. It could be really difficult. You could say, this doesn't work for me. There's people who cop out, or who, I shouldn't say cop out, who just give up and they don't do it, and that's free will. Of course, you make the choices you want. When I first started doing human design, I resisted it. I hated it. And I was like, what? I have to wait? Or what? I have to do this? Like, that's not what I've done. That's not who I am. Part of a projector, for example, is that the biggest opportunities in life you're actually invited into. And that was revelation. I just had revelations about that, because I realized that my most important jobs and my most important relationships were ones I was invited into. And when you're a projector, that helps you understand how your energy works and how it comes across, which is different than a generator or a manifester, who is the one who needs to initiate or who needs to go out there and make something happen or keep it going. Different energy. So it gives you some clarity around the best ways to trust what is right for you, even if your mind doesn't like it and your mind has other expectations. That's part of the deconditioning over 7 years, where you have to think about things differently, you make new choices, you see it differently, but then you open up to even more potentials and possibilities because you're then in the flow of your own energy. So again, this is just a brief introduction. It's a whole new world within human design, a lot of great stuff out there on it. And I just thought it would be helpful for you to connect with more of your energy, to understand your aura, to understand how you work, how you show up, what your gifts are, and to understand more about who you are and how to make the most of it in this life. So I'll be back on Wednesday with our astrology show where we'll talk about the energies of right now as well as any intuitive messages or visuals that come through. I hope that this information has been beneficial for you, my friends. I so appreciate you joining me every Monday, and I'll see you back here on Wednesday. So I hope you have a beautiful day ahead, and I'll talk with you soon. Take good care. Bye-bye.